right now at 5.
A sea of blue in Henrico Public Schools and schools all across the Commonwealth today in support of Virginia Beach and Friday's victims.
He and I used to walk in from the parking lot together in the morning.
You'll hear from one man who says he was confronted by the Virginia Beach shooter, yet survived. Why he believes he was spared.
And we're learning one of Friday's victims was a member of a bagpipe band with strong ties to both Henrico and Powhatan counties.
NBC 12 News at 5 starts with local breaking news.
And that local breaking news comes from the Fan and the Museum districts, where Richmond police are trying to find a man who was grabbing women. The attacks all happened on the same day.
And not only are all of the victims female, one is even a juvenile. Eric Perry standing by live on Monument Avenue tonight, where one of the assaults took place. Eric, what are you learning?
Kurt, Carla, police say that all of these calls came within a 4-hour period and happened in the Fan and the Museum districts. Now let's break down the different locations of where they happened. Now the first report came in the 900 block of Tilden Street around 3:35. In the next, just a few minutes later at 3:38 in the 3100 block of Monument Avenue. A call came in around 4 at Roseneth Road, and then the last just before 7:30 on Grove Avenue. In each case, the victim describes an unknown man coming up to them and then inappropriately grabbing them. The suspect then got away. None of the victims were hurt, and police believe the same man is responsible for each attack. Now, the description given by police is a white man or Hispanic man with a dark tan and short cut black hair. Anywhere from 5'8" to 6 feet tall, and anywhere from 35 to 40 years old. Now, anyone with information or even possibly security footage asked to come forward. You can call Crime Stoppers to help get this man off the streets. That's the latest here in Richmond. I'm Eric Perry, NBC 12 News.
Thanks so much, Eric. Now to our other big story, the tragedy in Virginia Beach. A makeshift memorial meant to honor the 12 victims of last week's shooting continues to grow today.
12 wooden crosses, along with American flags, flowers, and other mementos, sit outside the city's municipal building. There are also 4 other victims who remain in critical condition in the hospital.
We are on your side tonight with live team coverage on the Virginia Beach tragedy, beginning with Heather Sullivan in our First Alert Center. She has new information on the gunman. Heather.
Yeah, I do. We just got our hands on the actual resignation notice that Dwayne Craddock sent just hours before launching his killing spree. Here it is. The notice was sent via email. It did not give any hint of the violence that was to come. In it, Craddock writes that he is giving his 2 weeks notice and adds, quote, "It has been my pleasure to serve the city, but due to personal reasons, I must relieve my position." Now, Craddock was an engineer with the city's utilities department. He had worked for the city for 15 years. We do not see a timestamp on the email, but just hours later, Craddock unleashed his rampage, murdering 12 of his colleagues. Craddock was killed during an extended gun battle with police. The FBI and the ATF continue to investigate, and Craddock's family posted a message on their front door this week saying they are grieving, they are asking for prayers for all the victims. That's the latest in the First Alert Center. Heather Sullivan, NBC 12 News.
Thanks, Heather. One of the victims in Friday's tragedy called Central Virginia home. Christopher Rapp lived with his wife in Powhatan, working as an engineer for the county for just over a decade. He then recently took a job with the city of Virginia Beach about 11 months ago. Kelly Avellino live now with how people in Powhatan are remembering him. Kelly?
Well, Kurt, Christopher Rapp and his wife Bessie lived here in Powhatan for many years. Christopher taking on a position as head of the Powhatan County Utilities Department in 2007. And before that, he was also an engineer in Henrico County, so certainly a native here of Central Virginia. He and his wife Bessie were also members of an organization that is Filipino in nature, a Filipino organization based in Chesterfield. They love to dance and fundraised for the group. Chris, known for his personable and yet gentle demeanor. He loved all things music, I'm told. People who knew him tell us he was very friendly and always willing to strike up a conversation.
A loving individual, And he truly was.
And my heart hurts because, like I said, this is a very close-knit community, and we all are kind of a big family here, so we are affected by that. It's one of our own.
Christopher also loved to play the bagpipes. Neighbors tell me he would play at community events here in Powhatan, as well as funerals for those he knew. He was also part of a Scottish band in Virginia Beach called Tidewater Pumps and Drums. Now, coming up at 6, a special prayer tribute is happening tonight here locally for Mr. Rapp. We will certainly bring you the latest from that vigil at 11 o'clock, and I'll tell you more about it coming up at 6. On your side, I'm Kelly Avellino for NBC 12.
Thanks, Kelly. And we have more information about that vigil that Kelly just mentioned. It's being held at the Church of the Epiphany at 6 o'clock. That's on Smoke Tree Drive in North Chesterfield. And as Kelly mentioned, Christopher Rapp, not only a well-respected engineer, he shared a love and passion for playing the bagpipes. We'll hear from some people who shared that love with him. That's coming up in our next half hour.
All across the Commonwealth, people wore blue as their way of showing support for the city of Virginia Beach and those victims. The Virginia Beach school superintendent made the request, and it was certainly taken to heart at schools all across Henrico County. Henrico County reporter Karina Bolster is live outside of Henrico High School tonight. And Karina, the Virginia Beach superintendent has ties to Henrico. What is it?
Carla, he does. He was the very first Deep Run High School principal, and we're, of course, referring to Dr. Aaron Spence. I'm told he also has a close relationship with current Henrico County School Superintendent Amy Cashwell, who grew up in Virginia Beach, spending 20 years as a teacher and school administrator there. So it's no surprise that Henrico County Schools would jump on board for this request to wear the color blue today. Students here at Henrico High School were seen in different shades, focused on coming together following this difficult situation.
There were quite a few kids wearing blue today, and I was very surprised, and I was very it was heartwarming that a lot of people would step out today, and just as simple as wearing a shirt to come together.
Now, students tell me they talked about the shooting over the weekend with their friends and family, many of them telling me they feel these situations are happening all too often. Ahead at 6, hear more from these students about this show of support and the message they hope the community can take away from this horrible shooting. Live and on your side in Henrico, Karina Bolster, NBC 12 News.
All right, thanks so much, Karina.
And we're now hearing from several Virginia Beach City employees who actually came face to face with the gunman during his rampage and survived. Ned Karlstrom says he initially thought the shooting was a drill for city employees. That's because he crossed paths with Dwayne Craddock 3 times and he didn't get shot. He can only guess why Craddock killed 12 people, but somehow spared him.
The only reason I can think that he did not shoot me or didn't aim at me is because he and I used to walk in from the parking lot together in the morning.
While account clerk Terry Inman recalls turning around and seeing Craddock standing inside the building with a gun. Inman says she shouted at Craddock to stop.
And at that point in time, he turned and looked straight at me, but he didn't see me. Looked straight in my face, and he did not see me standing there. Because he didn't raise the gun. He didn't even make an indication that he saw anyone there.
Wow, that's just dumb luck. After Craddock left the room, Inman and Karlstrom heard more gunshots. They think that was when their friend and coworker Ryan Keith Cox was killed. Cox was credited with saving several of his colleagues by hiding them in a room.
Well, several memorial services have been announced for this upcoming week to honor those killed in that mass shooting. A vigil will be held Wednesday at Old Dominion University in Norfolk at 6 p.m. outside the Webb Center. The city of Virginia Beach is also holding a public memorial Thursday at Rock Church on Kempsville Road in Virginia Beach. That starts at 7 p.m. And we'll have more details available on the NBC 12 News app.
And there are ways that you can help the victims and their families. If you'd like to help, you can donate to the Virginia Beach Tragedy Fund by texting VA Beach to 41444. Virginia Beach has partnered with the United Way. The city says 100% of those donations will go directly to the victims. And please stay with NBC 12 for continuing coverage of the Virginia Beach tragedy. On the NBC 12 News app and Facebook page, you'll find stories about the victims, plus live coverage of memorial services, along with any updates as soon as they come in.
The medical examiner's office now confirms that human remains found in Mecklenburg County last week are those of a missing Cumberland County woman. Amy Fabian's remains were found in a stolen truck linked to her ex-boyfriend, George Nisley. Nisley was arrested near Raleigh Friday night. He's awaiting extradition back to Virginia, where he faces charges connected to the murders of Fabian and Matthew Broyles of Powhatan.
Let's check your evening forecast. Temperature is quite comfortable as we take a live look across downtown Richmond. It's low humidity, moderate temperatures. Can we squeeze one more out of this?
Yeah, I think we can. We're looking pretty good. In fact, let's go over to the Weather 2 computer. I'll show you our temperatures at 78 degrees right now, and nice low humidity, no heat index, 0 heat index. That's nice. We have not seen a lot of days over the past 6 weeks where we've had no heat index. So it's really a delightful day with that north and northwesterly wind. Regional readings, look how cool it is in the northeast. There was even snow up in Whiteface Mountain. This is up in the top of the highest elevation in the Adirondacks of New York, where it was in the 30s, low 30s this morning. But look at the readings over here into the north, nice. But there's heat building to the south. We start to feel some of that beginning Wednesday. So one more nice cool day, then big changes ahead. I'll have more on that coming up in a few minutes. Carla.
All right, thanks so much, Jim. Dockless scooters will soon be returning to the streets of Richmond. Tech company Bolt will be the first to roll out a fleet of scooters after reaching a deal with the city. Enzo Domingo spoke with a Bolt spokesperson about how it all works.
About 500 of these electric scooters will soon be popping up all around the city as Bolt is set to launch as soon as this week. Now, it's a quick alternative for people looking to get around just a little bit faster. A rep for the city's Department of Public Works confirms that the official launch is taking place at Monroe Park. E-scooters are not new to Richmond, however, as Bird scooters were dropped off on city streets last summer. Those were impounded because Bird gave no notice to the city. Will Nicholas of Bolt tells me that they received their business license and permits today. About a dozen Richmonders will be hired to maintain the upkeep of the scooters. Nicholas says typically riders tend to take them about 1 to 2 miles, spending about $3 to $4 per ride. He adds that they could spell out more business for local shops.
Coffee shop or a bar or a gallery or whatever it is. If you can't afford to be, where all the foot traffic is, it makes it incredibly hard to be successful. But with these forms of transportation that allow people to travel, further distances, that can create a consistent flow of patrons that a business wouldn't otherwise receive.
Now, coming up at 6, we'll tell you about the potential impacts it could have on the city and when exactly you could see them start rolling out. On your side, Enzo Domingo, NBC 12.
Looks like fun. Thanks, Enzo. Vacation season is here, but we may be able to save you a few bucks before you book that trip. Up next, expert travelers share some of their secrets, including why you should turn your web browser to private when you book the trip.
Plus, the sight of this little boy walking into traffic sent a bus driver on a mission, risking her own life to help him. Her story after this break. New video shows a bus driver in Milwaukee preventing what could have been a tragedy. Take a look at this video. Watch driver Cecilia Nation Gardner's face when she notices a little boy wandering around in busy traffic. She honks her horn to stop the other vehicles. Then she gets out to escort the boy to safety. He waited inside the bus until police came to get him home to his family. The 6-year-old had wandered away from school.
Are you booking a flight, maybe reserving a hotel? If it's time to make the most of your summer vacation, you should do it by first listening to investigative reporter Rachel DePompa. She has some money-saving hacks from our partners at the financial website NerdWallet, all to save you money.
You won't find Nikki McMullen dragging a bag across the airport.
I am a book bag person.
Nikki is clearly
I already had everything. I was there 30 seconds.
An expert traveler.
I'm part of a nonprofit, girlsforchange.org. We prepare the world for black girls and black girls for the world.
It's a Virginia-based nonprofit, so every penny is carefully spent. Today, Nikki's on her way to a conference in Atlanta. She's always looking for ways to save.
That's why I look at it. Delta and all, they have enough money. You don't need my little $4 or $5, $20 I might be saving. Just give it to me.
She's all about traveling on off times, avoiding rush hour and busy airports.
We are such a transient and careless society now. Everything is disposable, but money shouldn't be.
When Nikki books her tickets online, she always turns her browser to private. That way, her web history is not public, and online travel agencies can't track what flights she's considering.
Because they'll change it. If 5 minutes later, it'll be a totally different price. So that is absolutely true. I do that for car rentals as well.
For Nikki, saving money is now second nature.
I don't know how else to describe it other than playing the system that's trying to play you, I guess.
Anna Jackson has research to back up her suggestions on the best time to book your flights.
Timing is everything with travel.
She's a personal finance expert for NerdWallet. The website discovered the best day to book your flights is on a Sunday, about 3 weeks prior to your travel. Then travel on either a Thursday or Friday.
By traveling on those days, you can save about 10%.
Steer clear of flying on the weekends. She also says, don't always assume that direct flights are going to be more expensive. Sometimes they're actually cheaper.
I look at one-way flights, and sometimes you can book with different carriers. So you fly out with one carrier and you fly back with a different one. And that can be a great way to save some additional money as well.
Bottom line, if you just open a website, plug in a date, and go, okay, I'm going to buy that, you're probably not getting your best deal.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to shop around. And especially with airfare, you can see such a wide variety of prices.
For overnight stays, NerdWallet discovered that arriving at a hotel on a Friday could actually be your best financial bet. It has to do with all those business travelers.
A lot of business travelers are in a location during the week, especially if there's conferences going on, and those people tend to leave by before Friday night.
Anna says start with a big booking site like Hotels.com, but always take the time to click and go straight to the hotel's website and look at prices here. And it never hurts to pick up the phone and see what deal you can get directly from the hotel.
If you have flexibility with your schedule, there are often last-minute booking options too at sites like Hotels Tonight.
Everything's on my phone, screenshot it, just in case your phone goes dead, screenshot everything.
Nikki is non-stop with her travel tips. Her favorite one.
Oh, shucks. Traveling with a blanket. It can be hot as on the what, but it's always cold on a plane.
For the On Your Side investigators, Rachel DePompa, NBC 12 News.
Accurate, reliable, breaking weather specialists. This is NBC 12 First Alert Weather.
Thought it'd be cool, literally cool, to take you up to Wintergreen Mountain where it is cool, 56 degrees. This is a live shot from our JAS weather computer up there, top of the mountain in Nelson County. Just beautiful, spectacular weather up there as well as down here. Lower altitudes where we had temperatures right now is 78 degrees in Richmond, mid to upper 70s most areas. The lone holdout was out in Williamsburg, and the temperature at Williamsburg always tends to register a tiny bit higher than everywhere else. Might be an anomaly of where the thermometer is located. In any event, we're delightful even in Williamsburg today with the temperatures. There you see the clear scans on radar. That will stay that way tonight, and a nice cool night coming up. Tracking changes ahead, though, for Wednesday. Not only increasing temperatures, but see some storms brewing out here in the Plain States. Isolated for the most part, but these will kind of consolidate into a bigger frontal boundary or bigger system per se that's going to bring us increasing thunderstorm chances in our area around midweek, Wednesday, and then each day thereafter. Jumping ahead now, past tomorrow to Wednesday, there is a marginal severe risk from the Storm Prediction Center for most of Virginia, a slight risk to the west. We've been looking at the model guidance on Wednesday, though, and it looks like the greatest threat of any severe storms will probably focus well west of here, but we'll watch it closely for you. At this point, just a heads up, we may have some storms late Wednesday. Dry and cool for us tonight, though, 49 for your temperature. Hour by hour for Tuesday, 72 at noon hour, 79 degrees by 4 p.m., and that's our high for the day. Lots of sunshine, almost exactly like it was today, so nice and cool overnight tonight into Wednesday. Then we have the changes beginning as we have Wednesday morning, that is. Then we have temperatures warming up drastically. 87 degrees for the high Wednesday. 60% shower and storm chance later in the afternoon. Scattered storms, 40% chance Thursday and Friday. Drops a little bit Saturday, but each day there will be that afternoon thunderstorm chance right on through early next week. And temperatures heat up pretty quickly. They fall a little bit this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, we're talking low to mid 80s for highs. But again, enjoy tomorrow. because after that we go back up with the temperatures and storms come back as well. Kurt.
All right, Jim, thanks.
Well, behind each of these pictures is a story of love, of service, and incredible friendship.
We continue to remember the victims of the Virginia Beach tragedy when 12 News returns. VDOT and Elizabeth River Tunnels are both paying tribute to the victims of the Virginia Beach tragedy. Today, the signs across the Hampton Roads area carried the message, "VB Strong," and love for Virginia Beach.
Well, this evening and all week, we want to pay tribute to the victims of Friday's tragedy in Virginia Beach.
Each one was somebody's husband, wife, son, daughter, and each was very much loved.
Laquita Brown was killed on her father's birthday. He received the terrible news that very night. But while the 39-year-old died tragically, those who knew her say Laquita's life was filled with joy. That's how Candace Roush wants to remember her friend, as someone who always smiled and radiated positive energy.
If you were around Keita, you were going to have the best time of your life. She was your best friend, whether you knew her or not.
Laquita's father says she made it her mission to help others, especially in times of devastation, an irony not lost on those she leaves behind.
Meanwhile, a grieving neighbor in Virginia Beach paid tribute to one of the victims of the shooting in his own way. Joshua Hardy was the kind of neighbor who would mow the lawn next door as a favor. So his neighbor, Clay Rosser, returned the favor Saturday in a tribute to Hardy. He also fashioned a wood cross and planted in front of it. This is all in Hardy's yard at his home. Rosser remembered him as someone who was smart, considerate, and always had time to talk.
The world truly needs more Joshuas. People who are ready to receive your problem and help you with it, and expecting nothing in return.
Joshua Hardy also remembered as a deeply religious man. He was 52 years old.
Well, our coverage of the Virginia Beach tragedy continues in our next half hour.
Diane Walker is standing by with some of the stories we're following. Diane?
That's right, guys. Virginia Beach is a city very much in shock and grief this evening. And in times of tragedy, people just need to get together. Coming up, how they supported each other during a memorial service very close to the scene of Friday's tragedy. Also ahead, we will have more on one victim's deep ties to Central Virginia. Many are remembering Chris Rapp's talent for playing one of the most difficult instruments around, bagpipes. Coming up at 5:30, hear from the band members who played along with him.